Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope you guys are having a good night. I see we got Kathy's in the chat. Obviously, JJ is here. Janet is also here. Nostradamus. Dale from Ohio. Delbert Jones. Whispering Pines. How's everybody doing? Glad you guys joined us this evening. Comet Moon is here. Patty's in the house. Carol Prince is here. So, all right. This has been a very long day. Very, very long day. Ay, ay, ay. But that's not a bad thing. When am I getting more Cheez-Its? When they lowered the price of the Cheez-Its. Do you know what a box of the Cheez-Its is now? It's like 750 for a box of Cheez-Its. I got better things to spend my money on than Cheez-Its. I'm like, yep, nope. Because I was gonna get more Cheez-Its, and I would just when I was at the store, I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. Things have gotten outrageous. I just went grocery shopping Monday, and I'm in the store, and I'm like, in my head, I'm going, okay, keep it under 100, keep it under 100, keep it under 100, and I didn't get a ton of stuff. I really, really didn't, and I still spent $2. Now, I think I talked about this before, and two of the things that well, I didn't talk about it on this live stream. I talked about it on the private live stream. But two of the things that I got that were expensive: Philadelphia cream cheese. You got to have the original Philadelphia cream cheese if you're going to get it. That was expensive. And I don't do the little bitty tub. I do the bigger tub. That alone was like $7. And then I was Hellman's. Hello, how are you, my dear? And then I got Hellman's because I don't I grew up on Hellman's, you know, and so that's but yeah, it's crazy the thing, you're trying to buy stuff and it's like it's absolutely nuts. But what are you gonna do? I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You still gotta go get groceries. You gotta have stuff to eat. So I did replace. I'll show you. I do buy the off-brand Raisin Bran. I'm like such an old person now, but I grew up. Okay, hell, no. I grew up with shredded wheat, the bigger. I'll show you. Um, oh, I grew up with shredded wheat, and it's got to always be like in the package like that, so you get three in a package. Tell it. Will you stop? No, we're not done. No, come on. You gonna start now? Um, so I grew up with that. Always Rice Krispies and Raisin Bran. And so that's what I like. I'm like such an old person. I really am. It's like Steve gives me a hard time because I like Fig Newtons, and he goes, "What are you, 100?" And I said, "Dude, I grew up on Fig Newtons." you know. Delbert says, "Hey, Ed, I eat shredded wheat too." Well, it's weird how certain things are generational. You grow up. It's hell. Stop. Enough. Um, you grow up with certain things and they're comfort foods for you, and that's what you're used to. Oh, Frosted Flakes are awesome. No, no, I love Frosted Flakes too, but I just trust me, my sugar intake is like way. I don't know how. I will be honest with you, and I'm going to knock on the formica as I say this. I don't know how I'm not a diabetic, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, I do not know how I'm not a diabetic because my sugar intake is ridiculous. But yep, good times. Yeah, Tony the Tiger says they're great. Exactly. Oh, too funny. But LOL, me too, but that's because we stay physically busy. I think that's part of it, because you're active. Yeah, probably because I don't sit around, you know. I ignored my own daughter's comment. I did not see a comment from my daughter. So I'm gonna have to go back and take a look and see what you're saying. I don't ignore comments, folks. It's if it is not let me see what you're saying here. If I I'm looking for a comment from my daughter. I'm not seeing one. I don't see no comment from my daughter. Did you make a comment?
I did. I said that and your maple walnut ice cream.
Oh, see now I didn't see that, Heather. Okay, well let me continue on with the live stream. I will. You got to put it all in cap lock so I see it, honey.
Okay, well, my name on here is Hang Out with Heather.
Okay, all right. I love you.
I love you too.
All right, bye. All right. So Heather said yes. She just told me no. I did make a comment. Um, so she was saying that yeah, that and maple walnut ice cream. Yes, I love maple walnut ice cream. Absolutely love maple walnut ice cream. I'll tell you a funny. I'll tell you a funny story with maple walnut ice cream. Now, my dad, my real dad, um, gave me up for adoption when I was 5. My sister was 4, so we were adopted by my stepfather. And so I didn't see my real dad. I saw him once at 16. I saw him once again when I was 19 when I got done with basic training. And then I didn't see him again until I was 27. And that was because I sought him out and I wanted to get to know who my father was and the whole 9 yards. And then, of course, and I always loved this. I always loved this. He goes, to find out and all that good stuff. And I didn't miss anything, I'll be honest. But my mom always used to get mad. She goes, "You and maple walnut ice cream." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Your father's favorite ice cream was maple walnut ice cream." I was never around him, but I loved maple walnut ice cream. So I don't know what that's about. But anyhow, you know, uh, yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, I was gonna say, so he justified, and I always love this too because it's like really. Um, See, he had so I'll give you the kind of the backdrop on what happened with my dad. My dad had remarried, and his new wife had 2 kids. They were older than my sister and I. Okay, and the new wife didn't want us in the picture. Well, my dad was 16 years older than my mom, and so he's very old school. I mean, they didn't take care of kids, so his new wife wouldn't help him at all with us because she wanted us out of the picture. So when the option came up to let us be adopted, so he didn't have to pay child support anymore, he said yes. Okay, so but when I went and finally sat down and talked with him and said why, he goes, "Well, it was your choice." I go, "Dude, I was 5 years old. Really? It was my choice?" Oh, because well, 5-year-olds can make informed consent with things, of course. So he justified the reason. But again, um, I didn't miss out on anything there. I would just put it like that. So, anyhow, and here we've not talked about the topic at all yet, but we're going to, I promise. So, anyway, we're 265 in the chat so far. We got 89 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time. Why does your live streams just always shut off and then have to restart? I don't know what you're talking about. There's a topic, Sean. Sean, if you want to stay in my good graces, yes, at times. Now, we do have a tendency to go off the rails. That is a true statement. Don't you have to go to bed, Sean? You got to be up super early like an old person now. I mean, at 45, you need to be getting up there so, you're getting your exercise. That's an inside joke that you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but that's okay. Uh, anyway, so what was I going to say? Like now my brain is going. So anyway, I never even did this. So family friendly oriented channel, folks. Please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very easy, simple rules, um, then those awesome moderators lit up in blue are going to boot you out of here. So there we go. So anyhow, oh my God, that's too funny. The Father that guided my childhood and life resides in heaven. Well, I'll tell you what. To me, I'll be honest with you. My grandfather was my father figure. My grandfather had a huge, huge influence um, on my life. I mean, he just. I got. Oh, so I'm going to share this story, and then we are going to get into the topic. I promise you. I'm going to share this story really, really quickly. So I was. Oh God, I was in my trying to think how old I was at the time. I was in my 20s somewhere, and I was living. We had an old shop that converted into basically to an apartment. It was attached to the barn, and I was living in there. And I was dating this girl, and we had gone down to Philadelphia and went to the Philadelphia Zoo and all that and everything. So I had driven this day all the way back from Philly to Rochester. I dropped her off. She was living in the city. I dropped her off. I came back home and I literally had a half an hour before I had to leave to go do a 15-hour shift. So I was already tired. I was already tired. I was beat. I was a CNA at the time, and I was doing a private duty case. And so I was driving. I had my sports car. I had a Trans Am at the time, and my grandparents' driveway was a wraparound driveway. But the first part was paved, and then once you got under the carport, from there around the back, it was all gravel. Okay, and Grandpa hated it when you went faster there because the smoke would go up and the whole 9 yards. So I had backed in, like their cars were pulled in this way. I had come in and then I had backed up, facing so that when I left to go to work, I would just go around the back and go. And I came on to, they were back on the back patio. It was my mom was there, and my grandparents. And I walk into the back patio, and my grandfather goes, "Oh, sure." He goes, "Just in time to get something to eat." Well, for whatever reason, that set me off because I was already overtired. I had no time, and he just said the wrong thing. And I flipped out. I mean, I flipped out. I was like, "Mother effer, are you freaking kidding me? I gotta go work, blah, 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 blah." So I get in my car, right? And I'm lighting them up. I mean, I'm lighting it up around this driveway, and I can hear him over the sound of me leaving, cursing me, "You mother effer, blah 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 blah." Just pissed like you would not believe because I mean, the smoke was like blowing up 15, 20 feet in the air because I was so mad. I left. I went to work. Um, like 3 days later, my grandfather was sitting out at the garden, and I walked out to the garden. I hadn't talked to him for like 3 days. And I come out to the garden and I go, "Hey, old man." And he goes to me, I'll never, and this for my grandfather, folks, was a compliment. Okay. So he goes to me, he goes, "You know what, boy?" He goes, "With that temper," he goes, "you're a chip off the old block." Because that was my grandfather's temper. My grandfather was not a big hitter. He wasn't one that was physically hit you. If you needed a spanking, he gave you a spanking. But my grandfather would yell and scream and get his frustration out, and then he would feel better, and he would leave everyone in his wake. And then that was. But I did the same thing for a long time, I was exactly that same way. I wouldn't hit anybody, but I would, I'd get pissed and I would say what I needed to say. And then, God, I felt better. But then everybody else is like, what the heck is going on here? So it was just, that just reminded me, of that. And it was just like, man, but that for my grandfather, he was giving me a compliment that I was a lot like him in that aspect. So in a lot of ways, I am like my grandfather because he was my father figure. He was my mentor. But Grandpa he was rough around the edges and he was gruff, but you knew he loved you. And he would lay down his life for you, and that's the way my grandfather was. But yeah, he's been gone a long time now. He passed away in '92, so yeah, he's been gone a long, long time. So anyway, just wanted to share that story with you. Okay, let's get into the topic. We're 16 minutes into the video and still haven't talked about the topic. In Russia, a lot of you may already know that the opposition leader, Alexei, and I couldn't even say his last name, so I'm not even going to try, died in prison in Russia, right? And they are not saying exactly how he died or what happened and those type of things. And so in the topic portion, I said, could what happened in Russia happen here? Um, and a great point, and I'm going to make several points on this. Um, yes, J.J. Epstein style. And that was one of the points that I was going to make. Jeffrey Epstein was in prison, right? And killed himself. But the cameras that were monitoring him because he, was on watch and he had people guarding him and all that type of stuff, they mysteriously were not working at that time. But yeah, so um, you look at the Bundys, another great example. Okay, they were opposition to the government. They were causing problems, and they got locked up. And you lock somebody up long enough and put them in conditions that are not real pleasant, it will adjust your attitude. Okay, I don't care who you are. I don't care how tough you think you are. I don't care how bad you think you are. Uh, that's going to change the way you look at things. It's going to change the way you think of things. And realistically, since the Bundys have gotten out of prison, you're not really hearing much about them anymore. I mean, that's a fact. January 6th, folks, right? It's another one that you know they're being punished. Some of them are still in jail. A lot of them were locked up for a long time uh, for perceived wrongs. I'm not saying they were or justly or unjustly. Okay, I'm not saying either one of those, but for perceived wrongs against the government, you look how they dealt with that. But yet, other people burned cities, looted, robbed, assaulted people, and all that type of stuff. You know, they were fine. They didn't go to jail. They didn't go to prison. So again, it's all handpicked. You look, in our society again. Look in society in general. Look what happened to the truckers in Canada is another great example of somebody opposing the government and how it was handled by the government. If the government, folks, wants you to disappear and wants you to not be around and causing problems, you're going to disappear. It always reminds me a good example. Who remembers the Branch Davidians down in Waco, Texas, right? And I want you to think about this. And I'm not saying it happened differently than we were told that it happened, but you had a group of people that were anti-government, that the government went in there all hot and bothered and trying to be the tough guys that they thought that they were. And yeah, the FBI whistleblower from a Hunter Biden case mysteriously gets arrested. Right. And he's accused of lying now. Yeah, I love that too. I saw that too, JJ. But anyway, so with the Branch Davidians, they fought back. And then they had the big siege and everything like that. And then, according to what our government said, they set themselves on fire and burned themselves all alive. And that was so here they were for what? How many days was the siege? I don't even remember. It was a long 60 days or more, I believe, that they were there. And and then all of a sudden they decide, oh, here's the way we're going to deal with this. We're going to burn ourselves alive and all die and kill all the children. And then what did you hear afterwards, right? You heard in the news media that David Koresh, the cult leader, he was sleeping with all the wives. The men were not allowed to sleep with their wives, that he was molesting the children. We heard all this in the news media. What does that do, right? It discredits this person, right? So you're discrediting who that person is. Now, I'm not saying it's true and I'm not saying it's not true. I wasn't there. I don't even know. Yeah, Ruby Ridge is another great example. Exactly. Another great example. So, again, you know, there's example after example after example of things that happened that you just don't know. So I'm going to give you an example of something that I did not get a strike on this, because obviously if I'd gotten a strike, I wouldn't be here right now talking with you guys. So I get a notification today that one of my older videos was removed because of medical misinformation. Okay, and I gave opinion my opinion based on my own observations. And what the gist of the conversation with was, and I'm not going to give an opinion on it in this video, but this, right, childhood, this, uh, and autism. Okay, and I talked about that in the video, and I gave an opinion of what I felt. Now, this video, folks, was from when I was in the basement in my house when I lived in Greece, New York. So we're talking about a video that, at the very minimum, was about 10 years old, about a 10-year-old video. And now they're going to come on and say that I was giving misinformation. And like I said, my observations of my son who has autism, okay, and what happened, I was giving my opinion on that. Now, obviously I'm not gonna do that in this video because I don't want to obviously have them give me a strike. But that was something. So now they removed that video. Now I'm going to tell you what. Who watches videos realistically? I've been on YouTube since 2011, right? Who watches those videos from 10, 11 years ago? Once in a while, people will go back and they'll watch some of the older videos, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, so, and it'd been a while since I had one of those come up. It had been a while and somebody was like, well, when those type of things happen, that's another reason why they don't give you your plaque when you hit 100,000 subscribers. And it's also another, now I'm not saying it happens this way. I'm not saying that, but it's another thing for them to slow down your being able to get put out there, because I had just all of a sudden started having a pickup in views. I had one video recently that I put up. Uh, you have to hold it for 12 months. Okay, yeah. So I just watched one of the topless mowing. Oh my God, that's too funny. Hey, if it's hot, I'm an old fat man, and I take my shirt off when it's hot because I'm not sweating through a shirt. It just, not gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, nobody watches realistically those old videos. So, I'll tell you a funny about with the shirtless videos. And we get into this summer, and if it gets hot, you will see me doing videos and working and doing whatever I'm doing without a shirt on. And I had somebody say to me in a comment to one of those type of videos, "What, do you think you look good without a shirt on?" And I went, "I don't. It's not about thinking that I look good. I'm hot. I wear a bandana because I sweat badly off my forehead. I sweat a ton off my back, and so I don't wear a shirt when it's hot. Oh well, if you don't like it, oh well. But wear some Daisy Dukes. I'll tell you what. I had thought about doing this, having a pair of boots on and wearing like a Speedo thong and out there maybe shoveling gravel or something and like make no mention of how I was dressed and just go out there and like working away and then make the rest of my video just to see what people would say. I thought to me that would be funny because first of all, I'm not a big shorts wearing guy. And in like there's a picture, I'll give you an example what I'm talking about here. There's a picture that Heather took. We had gone to Letchworth State Park, and this is years ago, years ago. And again, if the weather's nice, I'm outside, generally wearing boots and jeans because I'm doing physical stuff, and and I don't wear shorts, right? And in the video, we're swimming at the pool, and Heather takes this picture, and she said, "Dad, oh my God, this looks like it was photoshopped because from the waist up, I'm very dark, really, really dark. And then you see the shorts, and then you see my legs, which are pasty white. They're pasty white because, again, I generally don't wear shorts. I'm not out in there doing that. So it was actually, the picture was amazing. It was very, very funny. So, but, you were hot for some of the ladies. Well, you know, we all have our crosses to bear, Vlad, you know. Hey, I'm just me, folks. You know, what you see is what you get. I am not pretentious. I don't think I'm all that. I had a conversation. I'll tell you, with somebody the other day, and they're talking about moving down to West Virginia, and they wanted some advice. So I said, "Well, give me your number. I'll call you back." And so I did. And she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking to you. You're like a celebrity." I'm just me. I'm just me. You know, I am no different in real life. Like I said, the only difference in real life for me and when you see me on here, the only difference is in real life, I do swear a whole lot more, a whole lot more. So yeah, some things can't be unseen. Max says that's right. So, uh, that's funny, but I don't know. I don't think that I'm some kind of celebrity. I don't. We have been asking you for years to wear a Speedo. Come on now, Janet. You would be, a lot of people would be in horror if I ever did that. On the prepper calendar, oh my God. No, so I'll tell you. So I got to tell you guys this because this is a joke. My buddy Reese and we had talked, and we laughed so hard when we were talking about this. And we were talking, do a Prepper Nurse One calendar, right? Because you see all these ladies, they all have their calendars out there and stuff like that. And so I said, in one of the pictures of one of the months, the picture would be, now, if anybody has seen the movie Kingpin, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Um, and in the movie Kingpin, it was a bowling movie, is what it was. It was a comedy. It was freaking great. If you have not ever seen the movie Kingpin, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Hilarious movie. Hilarious. So in the movie, no, we're not on topic. Of course not, Peter. Um, he has a bowling ball that has a rose in the center of the bowling ball. And when he's bowling, okay, he's got this bowling ball with a rose. So in one of the pictures, I said what we would have to do is it would be a picture of me holding a bowling ball with the rose in the center of the bowling ball and not have any explanation, no explanation. And I said, the funny thing with that was some people would get it, they would get the correlation with it, and others would have no idea. And they'd be like, what in the heck is with the bowling ball? And for us, that was just, it struck us as very, very funny. So that, like I said, I have a very weird, twisted sense of humor, and things that I think are funny, some other people would say, "Yeah, no, not so much." But yeah. So anyway, that's that was one of those things. But anyway, let's go back. Actually, go back on topic because we've gone off the rails once again. Jump the track on this rabbit hole chase. Did you watch MASH or Hogan's Heroes? Of course. I mean, who didn't? That's the time period we grew up in, right? So, you know, uh, but it's not twisted to be so. I guess mine is too. It's just things that I find amusing a lot of times other people don't think it's funny. And I think it's funny. You have to look at life in a certain way. You laugh instead of crying sometimes. If you know what I mean? It's just because life is so whacked and it's so messed up. To me, to be able to laugh at stuff instead of, you know, crying and being upset all the time. Life is so short, folks. I'll tell you what, to spend your time pissed off and angry all the time, that's not good. That's not productive. And the thing is, nobody wants to be around somebody like that. And I want you to think about this. We all know them. They're out there. People that are miserable PRIs. You know what I mean? And they're just they're angry. They're pissed off, and nobody wants to be around that. They don't want to be around that. So look at life, laugh at it, take certain things obviously seriously, but it just life is so short. Why waste your time? You know what I mean? So got rid of my last rooster, didn't like how he was treating my hens. Yeah, no, if you have a mean rooster, that's yeah. Don't take life serious. We all don't get out alive. You got that right. It all ends the same way. It all ends, and I'm gonna tell you what, if you can laugh, it's been proven people that have a good sense of humor and don't take things so super seriously all the time, they live longer. You know what I mean? Yeah, you have to laugh or go insane. Exactly. So I would rather make jokes about things. I'll give you an example of something, and again, it's my twisted sense of humor. When I had my cancer surgery, okay, and the doctor took the bandages off for the first time. And you guys, anybody that's watched any of my shirtless videos has seen the scar on my back, and it's quite the scar. It looks like Zorro got me twice. So there's two jokes with that. So when I first saw my scar, and I was like, I looked at my cancer doctor and I said to her, I go, Jesus, doc. I said, what'd you do? Take a kidney when you were in there also? I said, you probably get a good price on the black market. And she started laughing. And she goes, Ed, she goes, I wish more of my patients had your attitude. And I told her, I said, Doc, I said, I wouldn't have cared if that scar ran straight down through my face. I said, as long as I'm alive, that's all I care about. I got way too many things to do and way too many things to accomplish to dwell on the negative. And so, but so there's that. It's just like I said, you got to laugh at things. You just go, okay, well that's a wicked scar. And then the other joke with that is people will say, wow, it looks like Zorro got you twice. And so my joke with that one is I go, yeah, but do you see that MFer around anymore? Right? So obviously nobody sees Zorro anymore, so he's gone. So he might have got me twice, but he ain't around no more. So again, but yeah, the scar on the side of my head makes me look sexy. It's exactly, JJ. It's a badge of honor. It's a badge of honor. And the thing is, you're still here. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You know, it's a badge of honor. It means we've lived. Um, you know, and we're still here. We're not going anywhere. So anyhow, too funny, too funny. So, but the stuff that's going on and they're like vilifying Russia. Oh, I don't know if we saw this one. So Biden, and I love this too. I love this part of it too. So, oh, and there's something else I want to remind you guys. I'll tell you about Biden in just a second, which I found quite amusing. Quite amusing. Okay. So, so they're going to put new sanctions on Russia because of what happened to Lexi, right? Oh, yeah, we're going to definitely be putting in sanctions on Russia. Really, you think Russia gives a crap about what more sanctions that they're going to put on us or we're going to put on them, right? When we're sending billions to a country that they're fighting so that they can continue to fight them. And And I talked about that in another video. And I want you to think about this, okay? So we're sending all this money. We've sent them 113 billion already. And now they want to send them another 60 billion. Oh, the poor Ukrainians are low on ammunition and blah 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 blah. Who benefits from all that money that's being sent over there? I want you to think about that. I said we're talking about this. Who benefits from that? Oh, that's right. We do, or I should say, the military industrial complex, which builds all the bombs and the tanks and the ammo and does that and is sending that over there so they can continue to fight. They're using that money to buy that so that they can continue to do what they're doing. Isn't that interesting? Again, we're not going to ever say, oh, there should be immediate peace talks for Ukraine and Russia. It should stop. That's all they talk about with Israel and Gaza, right? It's all they talk about in Israel and Gaza. Oh, all these civilians being killed. I'm going to take a shot in the dark, folks. I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say, I'm going to say that probably your Ukrainian women and children, old people are being killed as well over there. Where's the outrage there? Why are they not saying, you know, Warlord TV, how you like in West Virginia? You're one of us now. Yes, I am one of you guys now. I love it down here. I absolutely love it down. I will never, ever go back and live in New York again. I'll go to visit because I'll visit family, but I'll never live there again. So, anyway, again, this whole thing that you see, this outrage and all the protest and oh, Israel needs to stop and they're killing all these women and children. Well, that's according to the Gaza Hamas, who's in charge of the media over there. Of course, they're going to say that because they're going to try to sway public opinion because they want them to stop because they want to stay in charge. And what has Israel said? We're not stopping until they are eradicated. And again, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Israel has my full and 100% support. I hope they burn it to the ground because you know what? Israel has the cojones that we, the United States of America, does not have because we are swayed by public opinion. If you have an enemy, right, wipe them out. Good example. We just had this little 20-year war in Afghanistan. Some of you may have remembered this. I certainly remember. And we left after 20 years, and the people that we were fighting, guess what? They're back in charge. They're back in charge over there. And things are reverting right back. Oh, they're not going to do the things with the hijabs and they're not going to, you know, stop women from going to colleges and have these different jobs. Guess what, folks? Yes, they did. It's one of the first things they implemented because they're back in charge. No, it's not off topic, Peter. It's not off topic. It goes to show that we waste all this money and time in these wars, and the only people that benefit from them are the military industrial complex. That's the only ones that benefit from those wars. You think the men and women of this country that have gone off to fought for our country in a war situation? I was not in a war when I was in the military. And I've said this before. And so I don't try to ever say, well, I'm a combat veteran. I've never said that, and I never will because we were not at war when I was in. Okay, I missed Afghanistan by about 6 weeks. That's what I missed. Because when I got down to my unit down at Bragg, they had just gotten back like 6 weeks before from Afghanistan. So, no, I mean, I'm sorry, from God, why did I? From Grenada. They were in Grenada. My bad. They had just gotten back from Grenada, so I missed Grenada is what I missed. So anyway, but you know, how do you think all those men and women that went over there and fought got messed up? How do you think they feel about our whole situation with there? How do you think they feel about that? They're probably disgusted. They're probably pissed. What a waste. What an absolute complete waste. Yeah, JJ pissed. Yeah, exactly. complete waste. And it could have gone very, very quickly, but they don't want these wars, folks, to go very quickly because they can't make any money if the wars go quickly. If they can drag these wars out and make them last a long, long time, that's where they're making their money. And that's a fact. That is a fact. So I got to tell you this. We're going to talk about this really quickly. I just read this just before this live stream and almost wet myself laughing. Okay. New poll just came out, and Joe Biden has surged ahead of ex-President Trump in the polls if they come up together for election time. Really? Who are you trying to fool with that poll? Did you go to strictly a Democratic city and ask the opinion there? And even there, the poll was it had Biden ahead by 4 points. I'm like, really? I don't. Anybody with a rational thought in their head would say that Biden has done an absolutely horrific job in his 4 years in office. And yeah, they think it's April Fool's Day. Exactly, Joan. Exactly. I couldn't believe that. It's weird how observation, observation, last election. It's weird how Trump would have these rallies and have a tremendous, huge crowds out there to listen to him, right? And Biden hardly left his basement, realistically. I mean, wherever he was hiding, okay? And when he did go do rallies, very few people showed up. But yet, some miracle of God, he beat Trump in the election, getting more votes than Barack Obama when Obama became the president the first time. And anybody, of color, realistically, when Obama was running for president, most of them, not saying all, but most of them voted for him because of one reason and one reason only, right? Do you think they ever listened to your live stream said, "Oh, Bob, I'm on a watch list. I've been on a watch list for years. Are you kidding me? I have been on a watch list for years." So, um, you know. Now, see, I didn't say that anything that anything negative. I'm just saying, as far as the election, I'm not saying the election was stolen. I did not make that statement. So I'm putting that out there so anybody watching can't say, well, he's giving misinformation. No, every bit of information I gave you is true, right? Trump had huge rallies, and Biden really did not have the turnout for his rallies like Trump did. That is a fact, all right? The fact that Biden got more votes than even Barack Obama, that's a fact as well. So all of us are in this chat are probably being watched. It wouldn't shock me, to be honest with you, if they're watching people and seeing what they're doing and stuff like that. Wouldn't shock me at all. Like I said, I could not sit on the sidelines, if you will, and say, I have the sad thing is I can't come on here and give my honest opinion. And it's an opinion, folks, okay? It's an opinion. I can't give my honest opinion on several different topics because if I do, I will be accused of spreading false information and then I'll get a strike. And then, I won't be able to live stream or put up videos for a week. And then, I have to be careful over the next 3 months because it's 3 months it stays on there. And it's just it's ridiculous. And you see a lot of YouTubers have to dance around how they talk about things. And it's why can't we just give our opinion? I mean, what's wrong with not agreeing with the narrative that is put in front of us? Just like I said with the whole Waco thing, there was a narrative that we were given, All right. Now, was that narrative true? Like I said, again, I have no idea. I have no idea. I find it hard to believe. Okay. Now, I know how cults work, and there's one guy in charge, and, the whole 9 yards, and, he's the head cheese or whatever. But I find it really hard to believe that a lot of adults would allow things to happen to their children. In whatever name of whatever. I really find that hard to believe. And when they talked to the town in Waco, Texas, and they said, "How were those people? What were they like?" And a lot of them had, yeah, we'll do egg count in just a second, JJ. A lot of them had jobs and went to work, and they didn't bother nobody. They minded their own business, and they just had a different thought pattern. Imagine that, thinking differently outside the norm. Now, the mistake that they made, the stuff that they were having delivered, because that's what the whole thing started with, the ATF in the first place, was supposedly, right? Not saying it was true, not saying it wasn't true, was that they were having hand grenades delivered to the property or something like that, and the package broke open. People saw it, they got concerned, they contacted the government. But here's something that I do know for sure. This I do know for sure. David Koresh went every day, and ran with two other guys from the Branch Davidian compound, okay, every day. And the government was watching them for quite a while before they made their move. Now, I would like to somebody to explain to me. You have the leader of the group is doing his daily routine, because we are routine driven animals. They could not have stopped, right? Grabbed him. Very easy operation. You got him and two other guys. How quickly that would happen, right? That they could stop him, boom, grab him, and that's it. The leader of the group is gone. So they didn't do that. They wanted to do the grandstanding and go in there, guns, ready to go. And, there was women and children obviously in there when that firefight happened. And when people defend themselves and now all of a sudden they're the bad guys, it's very interesting in my opinion. That's just my take. I'm not saying, anything one way or the other with that situation. I'm just pointing out, you know, the way that any of us would think. You know what I mean? Yeah, they wanted to make an example of David Koresh. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. And that was the talking about point of the sheriff of Waco. Well, it's a true statement. So anyway, what do we got? 368 in the chat. We got 200 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel, and I do appreciate that. Um, a TV reporter asked a mailman for directions. Mailman called David and tipped him off. Ah, no, good. Why would you do that to somebody who was bad, right? But anyway, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel, and I thank you ahead of time. Also, it makes a huge difference in the algorithm, so the more interaction, the better for the channel. So for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you ahead of time for that. All right. How many eggs today? And yes or no for the white hen. So let's do that. Give you guys a minute, and we will go from there. So, and it wasn't a tell, just so you know. I was just thirsty. It used to be a tell, and then I realized I was doing a tell, and so I had to stop doing it. Uh, Another beautiful day here today, folks. 55, 56 degrees. The sun was out. Cold start to the morning. It was like 30 this morning, but ended up just being an absolutely gorgeous day again. Awesome. What did my grandfather do for a living? My grandfather, good question, neighbor Bob. My grandfather worked for Eastman Kodak for 30 something years. He retired from Kodak in 1973, 1973 or 1974, something in that range. During World War II, he was making film that they were using to when the planes were flying, and they would do the photos over Germany or whatever, and taking pictures of stuff. He was one of the people that were making those films, and so he had an exemption. He was not. They did not let him go to fight because he had an important job working on this film. So that were during World War II recon film. Yes, JJ. So he did not go off to combat. So, but and he also on the side, he did plumbing and carpentry and all those type of stuff. So like his shop was like extensive, and so once he retired early. He went on and just worked for himself for years, and he was always busy, always busy. So yeah, the one regret I will tell you right now that I had, I'll give you the egg count winner in just a second. The one regret that I have, looking back, that now my cousin Doug went with my grandfather everywhere, plumbing jobs, carpenter jobs, and my cousin Doug can do all that stuff. And I never did. I didn't have any interest in it, and I just didn't do it. I was on a different path, and but my cousin Doug went with my grandfather everywhere, and he has all those skills to this day. And I didn't. And looking back, if I could do one thing, you always say if you could look back, if you could change anything, what would you change? And that would have been one thing for sure that I would have changed. I would have gone and followed him and learned the knowledge that he had. I remember him saying, "You boys are all so smart and I'm so stupid." And I said, "Gramp," I used to tell him, I said, "Gramp, the knowledge that you have in your hands is priceless." I said, "You can't take that away from you." I said, "You are great at what you do." So, and he was really good at what he did. So those are, that's like one regret for sure that I have, that I did not go with him and learn everything that I could have learned. So, but all right. So we do have a winner, and I think this is a first time winner here for sure. My boy Clyde from Inverness, Florida, is absolutely correct tonight. He got 3 eggs with no for the white hen. So congratulations to Clyde. You are the winner. I met Clyde actually. I met him and his wonderful wife. They were down in Tennessee. Pinball had a get together, and I went to that get together. And I met them then, and they had a van that they had converted, and I'll never forget this. And this was funny because I had to tease them about it. So they had the bed set up in the back, and so they had individual beds in the back. I go, "How come the beds aren't right together?" Just giving them a hard time. So Clyde, congratulations, you've won absolutely nothing, but you are happy. And I still love the way you guys had that van set up, or that is a conversion van type of thing. It wasn't a van; it was he can tell you in the comments, but it was really cool the way that they had it set up so that they could travel, they could sleep in that and do that. It was really really neat. So I never forgot that. So John did make you happy. It did make you happy. So anyway, uh yeah, it's there's probably in our lifetimes we could look back. Um, Ram Promster or ProMaster, Ram ProMaster. Okay, thanks, Clyde. Yeah, I couldn't remember what you had, but I remembered the way that it was set up, and you guys showed me how the setup was, and I thought that was really really neat. And I didn't forget that. Great way to travel. Great way to travel. You don't got to worry about staying in hotels. You don't have to worry about bed bugs and all that type of stuff, and a lot cheaper. So anyway, was his wife Bonnie? Oh my God, that's funny. That would be funny if his wife's name was Bonnie. I don't believe that it was though. Uh, but it's. I think we all have regrets. We all have things that we could change. I tell people, you know, I have conversations with people, and you know, we all have different upbringings. We've all come up different ways, and how we are brought up and the things that happens in our life shapes who we are. And so, uh, adversity. And this is just my take on it, okay? And I'm speaking for myself only. I'm not speaking for anybody else. But I think adversity makes you stronger. Um, you know, it definitely it shapes you differently than people that have it easy. If you have mom and dad and it's Ozzie and Harriet time type of upbringing, um, you know, you don't go through the same things as somebody that grows up hard. And the biggest thing with that, I think, again, and I will always say this, when your upbringing, however you were brought up, you can use that as a crutch. Okay, you can say, well, I'm happy to win nothing for the egg count. There you go, Clyde. Awesome. You can use that as a crutch and an excuse, which a lot of people do. Well, I'm not successful because, X, Y, and Z happened in my life. Those are excuses, okay? And as I like to say to people, excuses are like a-holes. Everybody's got one. You can take that, you can go from that experience and make decisions that, nah, I'm not letting that affect me. It's always there. Don't get me wrong. Whatever happens in your life, it's always there. But you cannot use that as an excuse of why you're not being successful. I had a conversation today with a young man, 24 years old. And I said to him, and I love to have conversations with younger guys and talk to them and subtly implant thoughts and stuff like that. I like to do that. I like to do that. Just because I've had the experience. I've been around a long time and seen a lot of things, and I said to him, I said, "What's your goals? What do you want? What do you want in your life?" And you know what this young man said to me? He said, "I just want to make sure my daughter has a good life." And I like that. I like that answer. I really, really do. So his priorities in the right place, which I think is fantastic. And him and his wife are divorced, and so they have the joint custody. And he said that she's gone on and had another kid with somebody else. He goes, but like she gets the daughter for a week, and then he gets the daughter for a week. And I think that is I think that's amazing. At 24, that he knows where his priorities lay. And I said to him, "How old is your daughter?" And she's 2. So I think that it's a really cool thing to be that young, and to know what the important thing is, and that's the children. Because they don't ask to be brought into this world. They do not. Okay, but you know they're here and they're ours, and so the priority should always be the children first. Always be the children first. So that's just my take on it. He's got a hard battle in today's society. He does, but you know what I mean. It's like if you focus on what's important, that makes a difference. It really does. Unfortunately, in our society today, a lot of people are me, me, me. They're not looking at the big picture. They're looking at their own self gratification, and they don't think about anybody else. And when I was younger and I didn't have any kids, it was all about me. I'll be 100% honest. It was about what I wanted to do, when I wanted to do it, and that was it. I didn't care because I didn't have any responsibilities. You know, when my children were born, that all changed. That all changed. And, my priority then became them. They came first, what they needed, what they wanted. And If you have kids, you are responsible for them before yourself. Exactly, Don. Exactly. How does he get to work taking care of a kid for the whole week? Well, I think he has family helping him. That I really didn't get into the details of it. Not my business, But no, he's a good kid, and it's and he's a worker, So kids working, and so that's a good thing too. So yeah, Don says for life. Yeah, I remember saying to Heather one time, I said, I can already see how it's going to be. I'll be 86 years old, you'll be 50, and you'll be like, Dad, you need to do this or you need to do that. And I'm going to say to you, no, you're still my kid, so shut up. so, you know, but Heather is a lot like me in so many ways, which I'm absolutely very proud of. She's very bullheaded. She likes her own way. so, though, how is that ever a bad thing, right? Don't we all want our own way? But no, she is a squared away young lady, and I'm very blessed to be her father. And I'll never ever regret. It's the one thing I'll tell you. Somebody said to me, "What's the greatest thing you've ever done?" And to me, the greatest thing that I have ever done is my children, bar none. Period. That is my greatest accomplishment. Always will be. And so that's never going to change. And that they're decent human beings is important. So, hey, listen, JJ, you're being a little pushy, son. I know it's shout out time. All right, so before we do shout outs, I'm just giving you a hard time. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, again, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel, and I thank you ahead of time. Also, it really does make a huge difference with the algorithm. So, again, if you have not done so, do that. It really pushes us up in the rankings, and I do appreciate that as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon um, as well to get all notifications. All right, so let's do some shout outs. We're going to start out with Heavenly Hills Homestead with Ryan growing giant vegetables. We are almost in that time of season again where people will be getting seeds in and getting started. So he's going to be getting a lot of things going. And it'll be interesting to watch what he does. He's going to do some stuff here on the homestead as well. So definitely like to take his knowledge and share that, and hopefully teach some people some things. I think that's cool. But if you watch his channel, you'll get to see things, and I think that that's very interesting. There is Icky Can up in Canada, living off grid as well. Really good guy. Definitely go show him some support as well. We have Angry Prepper down in New York City. Jason, good guy, very squared away. Good guy to listen to because he knows what he's talking about. There is Alaska Prepper, that is Rudy. Rudy's a great guy as well. Definitely worth to listen to. So go show him some support as well. There's also Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance, two different channels, same guy. Definitely worth to listen to. Very, very smart guy, living off grid up in Canada. Master builder. Definitely worth listening to what he has to say and showing you what he's doing. There is Demcad, like him as well. A lot of good info on his channel. There is Corporal's Corner, Bjorn Hansen. We have 80K Man coming at us from the Adirondacks. There is Bizariza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles. It's a very interesting story. Definitely worth to listen to. You can get some tips out of that story. There is Marfugal News with Adam and Dax out on the West Coast in Seattle. Good info with Adam as well. Real good guy, very down to earth. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. There is Wrangle Star. That's Cody, another good guy. A lot of great information with his channel. You have Red Poppy Ranch. There's Survival Lily coming at us out of Europe. Really interesting to see what's going on over there. And she's in the front lines in Germany. So, she's giving us that information over there from across the pond. They have Kyle's Cabin with Kyle and Sierra up in Minnesota, living off grid up there. Really interesting. You have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband wife team, two different channels, uh, splitting their time between Michigan and Alaska. A lot of good information on their channels. There is Green Greg's, another good guy. Southern Prepper One with his Boots on the Ground series. There is Gray Man Prepping. You have Doug and Stacy. Doug and Stacy are really good as well. A lot of good information on their channel, so definitely check them out as well. You have the Nomadic Movement down in Panama. Nice young couple down there. Definitely fun to watch what they're doing. There is a Green Dream Project out in Arizona in the desert, showing you what it takes to live in the desert and do that. Really nice couple. There is Camping with Steve Wallace, doing stealth camping. Really interesting to watch what he does too, and you can definitely pick up tips from him. There is Bush Doctor Survival. You have Monkey Works. There is the Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time. A lot of good info on her channel as well. There's Boss of the Swamp, another master builder. Definitely fun to watch what he does and take care of what he takes care of. It's really cool. Um, I wish I could build like those guys. I don't have that skill set. There is Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch project. Diamond is going to let you know everything that's going on with the Grand Solar Minimum. Really smart guy, definitely worth a listen to. There is Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. Straight shooter, she says it like it is. I respect that a lot, and so definitely check her out as well. There is City Prepper. You have Lumina Acres. There is Suspicious Observer, giving us all the information of what's going on with the sun, with the flares and everything like that. Definitely very interesting to watch that. You have Bear Independent, the uneducated economist. You have Bushcraft Bear coming at us from the Canary Islands of La Palma. There is Mary Greeley News. Mary Greeley's giving you all the latest of what's going on with Yellowstone, the earthquakes, and the activity. Definitely worth to listen to. There is Adapt 2030. You have Malachi's Corner. Truth Be Told with Tara. If you're going to get your weather, there's only one guy you should be getting your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall Y'all. Ryan Hall's a great guy, very, very passionate about the weather, but he also gives back to the community in a huge, huge way. I have a lot of respect for him. Real good guy, very down to earth. There is Russell Brand. I like Russell Brand. Russell Brand gives you the information and lets you decide what you want to do with it. And that's how I want my information. I don't want you to tell me what to think. I want you to give me the information and I can make my own decision on it. There is Deep South Homestead, another very family oriented channel. Like their channel a lot as well. You have The Outsider up in Maine. There's Betting on Alaska, a young man starting his journey to live off grid up in Alaska. He is the son of Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods. Um, I think we should try to support him and go from there. Let's see, we have The Fit Farmer. There is Prep Rebel. You have Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Townsend's showing you what it's like to live in the 1800s. I think that it's a lot of good information can be taken off that channel and go from there. There is the Prepared Mind. You have Pinball Preparedness down in Tennessee. There's East Tennessee Preparedness. You have the Economic Ninja. And last but not least, Little House Off Gritty, also in Tennessee. A lot of great channels out there, folks. A lot of good information. I know you guys put other channels in here that you liked as well, and that's perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with that. I can't give everybody a shout out, but I do believe that we should be supporting each other. We are a small niche community, and so infighting does nobody any good. So if we can treat each other with respect and dignity, I think that that's important. And so that's what I try to do. And that's why I like to do the shout outs because, maybe some of the channels you haven't heard of and you go, hey, well, maybe I'll go check that guy out. And if you like him, great. Subscribe to him, keep watching him. If you don't like their channel, then don't watch it. It's simple. It's how it should be, right? Some people can't do that, though, unfortunately, but that's okay. That is okay. Anyway, a lot of interesting stuff obviously going on. We definitely have to continue to pay attention, stay aware, continue to prep and prepare yourselves. Get yourself in a winning position as much as you possibly can. I don't want you guys to be victims. I want you to be proactive and be ready. And when the time comes, and I believe it's coming, okay, when that other shoe is going to drop, and then we have choices that we have to make at that point in time. And so, we do the best that we can, and we go from there. So I think that that is really, really important. So just my thoughts on it. And the more ready we are, the better off we're going to be. The more independent that you can do or be. Uh, YouTube has been doing that lately on several channels. I missed what was said. Blueberry said something. I missed what was said. But so yeah, all cap locks too, guys. If you have something you want to stand out for me, put it in all cap locks. I see it much better that way. So anyway, remember, guys, we truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. If we could ever figure that one out, um, you know, you'll be in much, much better shape. Again, we have to, you know, we got to come together. Where's everybody from tonight? So let's do that. Where is everyone from? We got Utah with Stevo, Fayetteville, North Carolina with Carol. We got Critter Lover in Virginia, BC, Canada with Janet, Milton, West Virginia with Ben, Missouri and the Ozarks with Delbert, Ozark, Arkansas Hillbilly with RD, West Virginia with Morning Light, Connecticut with Watcher, Franklin County, Ohio. We have Dallas, Texas, West Coast of Florida with Kit, Leesburg, Florida with Joan, Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house, our egg count winner tonight. We got Ohio in the house. We got Tammy coming at us out of Tennessee. Nowhere, Oklahoma with Okie Forge. North Georgia with Marianne. We got Puerto Rico in the house. Glad to have you here. Cape Cod, Mass. BC, Canada with Emil. The Ozarks. East Central Illinois with Ranger. The UP of Michigan with Dawn. Central Virginia with Janet. Hale, Michigan with Joe. We have Omaha, Nebraska with Larry. Greenlee County, Arizona with Codster. Springfield, Illinois with Tim. We have Kay coming at us out of New York. Uh, we have Carl coming at us from Nevada. What? Stop. Karen coming at us out of Western New York. Dale from West Central Ohio. What, baby? You're a good girl. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. And we'll go outside. Go outside? Do you want to go outside? All right, down. Stop. We got T coming at us out of Connecticut. But again, folks, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge network of people. We are the ones that are awake. We are not woke. Uh, Southeast Oregon with Dan coming at us. Uh, like I said, we can try to help educate people now, and I think it's important that we try to do so. But I think more of our mission, honestly, when the time comes, is YouTube's been deleting folks' comments like crazy. You know what? They do that a lot, Ben. They do that a lot. They don't like certain things being said, and they will do that. Yep. A lot of games being played with YouTube, unfortunately. So, but what are you going to do? It's part of the process, and there's not much we can do about it. We're just going to either, you know, look at all the YouTubers that left YouTube. You know, a lot of people are gone. So I'm just stubborn. So anyway, but I think the way we can make the most difference is after an event is to educate people, to help people. Eastern Ontario, Canada with Paul. So hold on one second here. Like I said, biggest thing, control what you can control. Take care of what you can take care of. Put yourself in that winning position. And the most important thing, folks, that you need to realize honestly, even if you can only do a little bit, it puts you in such a much, much better position than most people in this country or around the world because most people do nothing. When they say 95% of the people in this, well, they always use the United States, but 95% of the people are not prepared for a 2 week disaster. And that boggles my mind, especially with all the disasters that we have here in the United States. So I just don't understand that thinking. I really don't. And those people are going to be in extremely dire straits when the time comes. So even if you can only do things on a small scale, as long as you're doing something, over time it will build up, and You know, it's every man for himself and his family. Only you can take care of you. And that's exactly it. I'm going to rely, Ben, I'm going to rely on me. I'm going to rely on my family. I'm going to rely on my group. That's who I'm going to rely on. We have made the decision to have each other's backs when the time comes and work together. And, so I know a lot of people don't like groups and they say, oh, well, groups, they can't work, blah, 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 blah. They absolutely can. They absolutely can work. If you get the right group of people together, it can work and people can come together and they can work together, and, you're going to weed everybody out. Anybody that over time that shouldn't be part of something, they'll weed themselves out in a lot of ways. And then, and there will be times that you have to make hard decisions and let people go. Um, it happens. But here's what I said to somebody recently. I said, I would rather have 8 truly dedicated people, 8 that I know that I could rely on, than have 20 that I wasn't sure of. Like if you had a group of 20 members, for an example, but they were wishy-washy and you weren't sure what was going on and all that type of stuff, you don't know that you can rely on them. But if you had a core group of 8 people that you say, hey, you know what, these 8 people are solid as the day is long. I know I can count on them. They're going to be here. Then that's a good thing. So, but Smoking Swamp Outdoors, been a sub for 3 years. Love the channel. Shalom. Thank you for being inspiring. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm going to tell you what. I will always brag on my group, folks. I always will brag on my group because I have some extremely outstanding people that have come together that I would not have met in life if it hadn't been for this channel. And a lot of them I consider dear friends now. And we have a vision, we have a mission, if you will. Um, and we're making it happen. And we're showing you as we make the progress that it can be done. And so it's been amazing, and it's very, very cool. And I feel very blessed to have these people in my life. So that's important to me. I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. They are awesome, ladies and gentlemen that moderate for me. Thank you very, very much. Um, People will group up when SHTF on a worldwide stage. Absolutely, JJ. They will group up for survival. That's why they'll group up. They'll group up with for survival. And the thing is, to me, I would rather. How many folks have you thrown out of your group? I'm not really going to get into that. There have been a couple that have been asked to leave, and I'll just leave it at that. And so a couple is a very vague number, but you have to sometimes, weed out people that don't belong for whatever reason. And but again, you know, if you, I would rather have the people that I know that I can count on now than trying to throw in with the group after an SHTF event for survival. That would be horrible. That would be horrible. So, anyway, guys, remember, we truly are all in this together. We are in one race called the human race. As soon as we can figure that one out, we're going to be in much, much better shape. Uh, we have to stop letting them divide us using race, religion, political affiliation. All that is nonsense. It don't mean anything. And they use those tools to keep us fighting amongst each other. If we could come together as human beings, there would be nothing that could stop us. Nothing. And they know that. So that's why they will always continue to divide us. So, uh, again, also remember, folks, hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one stopping you from achieving your goal is you. That's it, nobody else. Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. Hang in there, folks. Keep prepping. Do the best you possibly can, and you're going to be okay. Set realistic goals. If you set realistic goals, you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. Because once you set that goal and then you set about to making it happens, you check it off the list, and then you move on to the next goal. One example of that would be here, would be the pavilion. What a game changer this year the pavilion was this winter, as opposed to not having it last winter. Night and day, night and day. There still has to be more work done on the pavilion, which is true, but we will get there. We will get there. So anyway, guys, be safe. Keep prepping. I will see you all in upcoming videos. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock video tomorrow will be the latest bunker build video. So definitely check that out. Every Thursday I'm trying to do it. So Thursday at 3 o'clock is going to be the updated bunker build videos. And so you'll get to see those and see what kind of progress we're making and what we're getting done there. And so definitely check that out. Have a great night, and I will see you all later. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.